Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with the Blog to Watch. Please subscribe to Blog to Watch videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a very interesting watch. This is the Porsche design P'6780 diver. This is the black PVD version. There was a non-PVD version as well. This one has that kind of very stealthy quality to it. And there's an interesting history behind this watch. So as many of you know, Porsche designs their watches, but they don't make their watches. Who makes their watches is Eterna. And Eterna is, a really good supplier. They make really good watches, and they do a great job. So a few years ago, actually more than a few years ago now, Eterna came out with a watch that I thought was fantastic. It was called the Kontiki Diver. And I think it was a little bit too much, possibly, for some of the people that were buying Eterna watches. And they stopped making it really quick. If you can find a Kontiki Diver, you know what I'm talking about. I highly recommend you pick one up. They are very, very cool, very unique timepieces. And this watch is based on it. So Eterna wasn't doing so well with their own Kontiki Diver. So basically it turned into a Porsche design watch, and I think it started doing a lot better. So the first thing you notice is this case looks really unique. It looks like it has little ears here. And these are pushers. And you push this, and the case pops out. It looks like a compass or something in this way. And when it pops out, it doesn't just flop back. It actually has a mechanism there where when you put it up, it actually locks. Now, what this does on this version is it's a release to make it so you can turn the rotating bezel. And I don't know if you can hear, but this thing, I mean, it's I've never turned a bezel that sounds quite like this. It sounds like a mechanical piece of a tank moving. It sounds heavy and secure, and there's kind of this like jingle behind it, this like metallic twang, which is, I don't know, it's really cool. Anyway, so when the watch is back in the lock position, you can't turn that diver's bezel, and when it's out, it can. Now this is one of the few watches that was able to do this. Other brands tried to do this, not this locking thing, but what you notice is happening right here is you're turning the outer part of the bezel, and it's turning the inner part. And that's difficult to do. Now this watch does it and still is able to maintain 1,000 meters of water resistance. A lot of other brands tried to do this and in their own particular way, and were not at all able to retain the type of water resistance they wanted. Now the Eterna Diver had a feature this watch does not have, and that was the power reserve indicator, and that was on the dial. This one's been taken out. But aside from the lack of power reserve, and of course some slight differences to the design, and of course a totally different dial, this is very much the same type of watch. The case is big. It's almost 46 millimeters wide. It's very, very long. And when you wear it, it's, I don't have the biggest wrist in the world, but, it looks cool. It's obviously probably on the larger side for what my wrist can handle because the lugs stick out a little bit. But what you can tell, which is interesting, is that there's this sort of articulation here on the end of the lugs, giving it some type of a play. So, it's not crazy amount, but having that on both sides definitely allows the watch to fit better. What I wanted to show you as well here is a unique way of doing a diver's extension, which is, this is unique. So basically you have a butterfly clasp here, and then you have an extra part, which is the diver's extension. I've never quite seen that done. So when you open it normally, it just looks like that, and then you can open it up again to have a diver's extension, which basically means you get a little bit extra room there to put it over a diving suit or something like that. And then when you close it all up, it looks clean. That does mean that you're going to have to go ahead and cut the strap to size, so order a few if you want to. But it's just, I love this thing. It's so interesting. It's so unique. Of course, the crown locks in that position, so you can still wind it like this, but you can't, of course, adjust the watch unless you take it out. This black version of the watch is a little bit less legible, I would say, than the other version that has sort of a gray and yellowish dial, but this one is still very, very legible. There's a lot of lume on the dial. It's a very deep dial, and you'll notice that the curved crystal does create a bit of distortion. So when you're looking at an extreme angle, there is distortion which can occur there, which is not necessarily desirable, but isn't the end of the world, because you have to get at a pretty extreme angle to get that distortion. So at that point, you're not really gonna be able to wear the watch or read the watch at all. This is not a cheap watch. This was quite expensive. This case was by no means easy to make. So actually, the funny thing is they actually made it more expensive as a Porsche design watch than an Eterna watch. I think that was the case, or maybe it was they left it the same price, but they took away that complication. I also believe that the Eterna may have been in titanium, where this is a steel watch, and it's heavy. This is a pretty cool heavy watch, and I think that it's unique for Porsche design. It's a unique diver watch overall. I'm kind of a diver watch fanatic, and to have one like this, which successfully does something completely different and has this cool kind of case, is cool to me. So again, this is the Porsche P'6780 and P'6780 diver, and its price is like, I want to say about $11,000. I think it's $10,900, so about $11,000. And you can see the full review on blog2watch.com. Thanks.